They call it the end of the Ice Age, as if melting glaciers were just a casual spring thaw after a particularly long winter. 12,000 years ago, something massive happened. Seas rose, continents flooded, climates shifted overnight. The archaeological record whispers about it, and myths scream it, from Noah's flood to Atlantis, from Gilgamesh to the stories of Viracocha. It wasn't one small regional event. It was global. And yet, we're supposed to believe humanity was still hunting mammoths and rubbing sticks together at that time. Of course, the official story sounds so elegant, so neat. Massive glacial melt, climate fluctuations, gradual flooding. Sure, because continents usually casually drown themselves, right? Because you can melt kilometers of ice in a few decades without any extraordinary trigger? The polite academic smile covers a hole the size of a crater, literally. You see, those craters do exist. Greenland, North America, Antarctica. Their dating, suspiciously, matches that 12,000-year mark. But they're not your average asteroid dents. The glassy tektites, the shocked quartz, the isotopic traces, they scream nuclear-level heat. Some even suggest these were not impacts at all, but detonations. Energy releases too concentrated, too geometrically distributed to be random rocks from space. And here's where the fun begins. Because, apparently, nature occasionally throws bombs that behave like precision weapons. Unless, of course, they weren't natural at all. Let's entertain a thought, just for academic amusement, of course. What if an ancient, advanced civilization existed before us? Not Bronze Age farmers, but something that understood energy, structure, mathematics, and power. Something that reached too far, too fast, and paid the ultimate price. A civilization that burned the planet clean. Sounds insane. Sure. So does the fact that after 10,000 years of supposed stagnation, suddenly, in the blink of 2 centuries, humans rediscovered electricity, flight, nuclear power, and quantum physics. We went from horses to the internet faster than any evolutionary timeline should allow. Either every genius of the last 200 years was secretly a demigod, or someone left us breadcrumbs. Ancient myths call them the Shining Ones, the Watchers, the gods who came from the sky. Our modern minds translate that to aliens, but what if they were just the survivors? The remnants of that lost world, guiding the amnesiacs we call humanity to rebuild the same machine that once destroyed them? Because, let's be honest, we're not creating anything new. We're remembering. And we're remembering too fast. Let's play along with this scientific consensus for a moment, because, as we're told, we should always trust the experts. These are the same experts who swear that an entire species of mammoths froze instantly mid-chew, with buttercups still in their mouths, and somehow still think that's gradual climate change. Yes, of course, because glacial shifts are known for their lightning speed. Now let's zoom out. Around 12,000 years ago, something unleashed energy on Earth so powerful it could melt stone, vaporize forests, and change atmospheric composition. Ice cores show chemical spikes, traces of iridium, and radioactive isotopes that simply don't belong there. But when such data appears, the first instinct of modern science is to politely sweep it under the fossil rug. After all, admitting that someone before us harnessed forces we barely understand, that's professional suicide. But look closely, the evidence is everywhere. Megaliths cut with machine-level precision long before the invention of the wheel. Stone blocks that fit tighter than modern lasers could achieve. Structures aligned with celestial coordinates that shift only over millennia. Are we to believe a group of loincloth-wearing hunters accidentally built monuments that still baffle engineers today? The sarcastic answer: obviously yes, they must have had exceptionally sharp sticks. But what if? And this is where academia gets uncomfortable. They were rebuilding from memory. What if humanity didn't evolve into civilization, but rather recovered from one? Imagine a handful of survivors, genetically altered, culturally fragmented, carrying the ghost knowledge of lost technologies. Myths of thunder gods and sky fires might just be distorted memories of the real apocalypse, a war fought with energy weapons beyond comprehension. It sounds like a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? Except that we're now replicating the same path. In just 2 centuries, we've recreated everything from atomic power to artificial intelligence, technologies that could again reset the planet. What are the odds that 2 entirely separate civilizations, 10,000 years apart, would follow the exact same trajectory towards self-destruction? It's almost poetic, if you like dark poetry. Maybe that's the real secret. We're not inventors, we're actors, reading lines from an ancient script. The knowledge was never gone, just locked away until we were mature enough to misuse it again. The Watchers, the higher race, may not be aliens at all, but but the stewards of our collective amnesia, nudging us toward remembering what destroyed them. And oh, we're remembering fast. Faster than history allows. Faster than evolution explains. So the question isn't if it happened before. It's when it happens again. Of course, the experts say, there is no evidence of an advanced civilization before ours. Right. Because apparently, a civilization capable of global architecture, planetary mapping, and possibly nuclear-level destruction would definitely leave behind wooden spoons. Let's apply a little sarcasm and logic at once. We dig up tools of obsidian and bones, but not a trace of how the pyramids align with Orion or why the Nazca lines look like they were meant to be seen from the sky. Maybe ancient Peruvians had hot air balloons? Or maybe they just really liked aerial art. Meanwhile, beneath Antarctica, the very continent everyone conveniently ignores, satellite scans reveal structures buried beneath miles of ice. Perfect symmetry, geometric precision. What a coincidence, right? Because glaciers always form in straight 90-degree angles. So yes, maybe Plato wasn't writing a myth. Maybe Atlantis wasn't a single city, but the last global civilization that fried itself off the map. A society so advanced it could split atoms, and so stupid it didn't think of what happens after. And here's the bitter irony, the cosmic joke. We're doing it again. We think we're innovating, but all we're doing is rebuilding. Every invention, every discovery, from electricity to flight to AI, it all feels remembered. Like a collective déjà vu humanity refuses to admit. Maybe that's why the leap was so fast. For 10,000 years, we grunted over fire and sharpened stones. And then, in barely 2 centuries, we had rockets, microchips, and digital gods. That's not evolution. That's memory download. And perhaps, somewhere out there, the Watchers, call them aliens, higher beings, or the leftovers of a past species, are shaking their heads, muttering, they're doing it again. Building, overreaching, forgetting. It's the perfect loop. Because civilization isn't a straight line, it's a circle. We rise, we discover, we worship our own intelligence, and then we detonate it all in the name of progress. Ashes, ice, darkness, then silence. Until, millennia later, a few lucky survivors start over, poking mammoth bones into the dirt, wondering where all the light went. And when they finally remember, when they build enough machines to dream of gods again, the cycle restarts. That's not a myth. That's our pattern. The cycle of oblivion. So maybe the real question isn't what destroyed the ancient world. Maybe it's what will destroy ours.